5 R's of business ethic. The R number 1 is respect. The Bible says that a good name is more desirable than great riches. To be esteemed is better than silver or gold. Treating people with respect, whether it's employees, whether it is colleagues, whether it is the people who supply to you, whether it is people who are your competitors, who are your rivals, they are not even your friend, treating people with respect and courtesy. It is something that we need to uphold. It is a business ethic that is expected of a Christian person. Responsibility, the R number 2, responsibility. Romans 13, from verse 1 all the way to 14, but I've just picked part of that. Give to everyone what you owe them. If you owe taxes, pay taxes. If revenue, then revenue. If respect, then respect. If honor, then honor. Many times we want to evade, we want to avoid our responsibilities as business people. And I said earlier, truthfulness, even manipulating records so that we can be seen we are doing well, even manipulating information, giving the wrong information, not paying what is due to those who work for us or those who supply to us, not meeting our responsibility to the environment, not meeting our responsibility to all the stakeholders that we have. That it is your responsibility even to give that which is quality as a business person. That you do not compromise on quality, you do not compromise on truth and honesty as a business person. R number 3 is results. And we say, does the end justify the mean? I would say for a believer, not. The end does not justify the mean. You need to ask yourself, those results, those profits that you report, those good things you are talking about your business, are they at the expense of having compromised when it comes to legal matters, when it comes to moral aspects? Are you doing that so that it doesn't matter who you stepped on as you climbed up the business ladder or your career ladder, as long as you get to reach at the top? And that is what it means, the end justifying the mean. That sometimes we don't care who we step on, as long as we find ourselves at the top. And as long as we declare ourselves the most successful people in one thing or the other. And we are seeing a lot of that in our country, unfortunately. But I pray that in our midst, that we would be careful to say the end does not justify the mean. That wealth gained hastily will dwindle, but whoever gathers little by little will increase it. Bwana asifiwe. And we can be told at the end of the day, whether your business is a big one or a small one, whether you have grown that high in your career or you're at the middle of your career, well done, good and faithful servant. R number 4 is role model. There's a combat commander called, I read about one time, called Dick Winter. And he had a philosophy, and the philosophy was officers go first. What did this mean? That for him, if there was a war and an attack to be done, he had to be among the first. He had to lead his troop. And he knew, even if it meant endangering his life, he was ready to do that. So at one point in such incident, he actually endangered his life by trying to lead his team to go and attack an enemy, and he almost lost his life. Later in an interview, when he was asked why would he do that, he said, I may not have been the best combat commander, but I always strove to be. My men depended on me to lead by example. How many of us leaders, and business leaders especially, because remember, whether you are owning a business of yourself only, 10 people, how many people, you are a business leader. How many times are we willing to lead by example? And sometimes this is what is lacking in our society, because we are not leading by example, and we are not ready to say we go first. We communicate the vision, we say what we want done, but we do not lead by example. We do not do it. And one person, John Maxwell, said, there's a law of the picture. People do what people see. In a talk I participated or attended recently of some students being given a talk by one of the senior-most executives that we have in our country. After this executive gave a talk, he's a former node boy of the school. And of course, you can't talk to young people and not talk about values and morals. And it was time for question and answers. So one young, intelligent boy raised up his hand and he asked a question. He said, you have talked to us very well about values. And I can assure you, we are very good at keeping our values here. We make sure that we do not cheat for our exams, we do not do harm to our fellow students, and so forth and so forth. But I am worried. Once I get out of that gate, the boy was a Form 4. Once I get out of that gate, I see and I understand it's very hard to be successful out there unless you compromise on your values. How would you expect me? And I also understand that you also cannot sustain that success unless you compromise on your values. How do you expect us, as your advisors, to go out there and keep our values? That is a kind of an example that young man had seen. Possibly he has already witnessed that one has to compromise on their values for them to be successful. So let's be and strive to be role models. R number 5, releasing power. You may all remember the story of the Ford Motors, because that Ford was a popular, especially in the older days. And Ford Motors was founded early in about 1903 by Henry Ford. And he was a very successful business person. At one point, Ford Motors was controlling about 50% of the business in the US, or the automobile business in the US. But he had a problem. He did not embrace empowering others. And so even as he drove his vision, and he started with a successful product called Model T, which the vision was to ensure that every average American family owned a family car. And that's how he became successful. But with the time, competition came in, but he couldn't embrace change, and he couldn't allow others to bring in different and new ideas into the business. In fact, he put down anyone who tried to outdo him or to be better than him. And so as a result, it remained small, competition came in, and the business went going down, down, down. Even when his grandchild, Henry Ford, came to take up the business, he still led by the same style, not embracing empowerment. What happened eventually? We hardly hear of Ford today. Now, we have seen businesses that die with the owner. We are not short of that in our nation. Even right now, we know one that we are wondering what will happen next because they've already started fighting around it. The law of empowerment, or releasing power, means that, like John Maxwell said, the truth is that empowerment is powerful, not only for the person being developed, but also for the mentor. Enlarging others make you larger. One asks if you were. As you lead, as you take actions, as you become a company executive, as you become a business leader, can you also empower others so that many years down the line, several people will say, I was empowered by so-and-so. I am like this because so-and-so empowered me. Do not hold power, do not hold knowledge. And I am a champion of mentorship. Mentor other people so that we do not see businesses that are dying down with the owners. You do not have somebody working for you 20 years, and when they leave, they cannot even run a business of their own because you never empowered them. May the Lord help us as we embrace the 5 R's of business ethics.